Thank you for joining us, Raunaq.
Thank you for having me.
This is a bit strange. Maybe we should tell the audience how we actually went to university together.
Yep.
And now we're kind of both accidentally in fintech.
Yep, that tracks.
And now we're in a podcast studio to talk about that journey.
I know. I can't believe we're fintech podcast bros now. Like that's beginning of the end for me.
London got us from mechanical engineering to fintech. But you are also, can I say you are a serial founder?
I'm not sure. Like, what's the boundary? I did start one startup, Humanising Autonomy, which was for my master's project, and now I'm kind of in the exploration phase. But I have started a second one, kind of by accident, and I'm interested to see where that goes. I don't know what serial is. Maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So double found. I don't know what the phrase is, but you've done it more than most people anyway. Maybe actually we can start by talking about humanizing autonomy.
Sure.
Because also, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was an AI startup.
Yeah.
Before AI was trendy. It was pre-ChatGPT.
It was pre-ChatGPT. So this was so I went to do a master's at the Royal College of Art and Imperial College London. It's a really cool program called Innovation Design Engineering. I actually hate the name because innovation doesn't mean a lot anymore because it's so overused. But it was a great program, and that's where I met my 2 co-founders, Leslie and Maya, and we did a group project. It was our second year group project around how can self-driving cars understand people better.
Wow.
So it was kind of the AI element came into it because that was the right tool for the job.
Okay.
It wasn't like, oh, we're going to start an AI company.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, how can these automated systems better understand people's behavior from inferring their behavior from what they can observe?
Okay.
And then it's that was around the same time as convolutional neural networks, which is a type of AI that understands how machines see things.
Yeah.
So it was that nexus of those technologies coming up and this problem coming up that it became an AI startup.
That's really cool. So it wasn't LLMs, was it?
No.
More towards I hear this phrase, world models.
You know what? In some ways, yes, but in other ways, no.
Okay.
I think the world model thing is actually very confusing for me too, because it's super broad and people have many different definitions for what is a world model. Yeah. It's if you really zoom out, world model, that's everything. So I think the way I've been trying to talk about it, or think about it rather, is physical world models,
right? Which
are a model that understands, what is the next trajectory of a robot arm, for example, or a person.
Yeah.
But also social world models. So what is the interaction between this person and this machine?
Okay.
So say you're a webcam and you're understanding, how are people moving around the self-checkout machine or something.
Yeah.
So, that can be another social world model. But the thing that we were building was, so we were leveraging the latest in computer vision.
Yeah.
And that this was in a period of time when it was moving from more traditional computer vision techniques to more deep learning or AI computer vision techniques.
Yeah.
And what we were building was this neurosymbolic, which is a fancy way of saying modular architecture, where we were using deep learning networks to extract features such as is someone looking at the vehicle? Is someone how far away is someone from the vehicle and so on? And then using more probabilistic models and statistical models to understand, what is the chance that this person is going to cross the path of the vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's where we're inferring what they're about to do from what we observe.
Yeah.
That's what me and you do when we're, driving or cycling around London. You just make a judgment call based on where they are on the edge of the pavement, or if they're looking at you, if they're on their phone, that you should slow down because they might not be aware you're there. So basically building around that. And that's, we ended up becoming this AI company because we needed to be, basically, to solve that problem.
Not because it was trendy.
Not because it was trendy. And actually, in many ways, we're going against the trend, which was throw loads of data at an end-to-end deep learning model, like a black box. But, we didn't believe, and I still don't believe that that's the right way, especially for safety critical applications, where you kind of want to know, the confidence intervals and the interpretability of it is super important.
Yeah. this is often, we have this problem as well in finance. And the previous episode was kind of about a similar theme of these probabilistic models in an industry or an application where you have to be able to trace the reasons for the decision
exactly.
and the end decision. Like you can't compromise on this.
Exactly. When something goes wrong, it's not if. When something goes wrong, you need to show why. For many applications, which is why we went down that path, because part of the output of that was not just, okay, how sure are, not just is this person about to cross the road, but how sure are we of that? And the implication obviously is huge. And I guess, in a setting like London, you can't predict all of those use cases. Everything's an edge case. And especially, I think that's probably one of the reasons why we started it, was around the time that we were doing this. Self-driving cars was super hypey. This is 2016.
Okay.
You were seeing these kind of 3D renders of cars projecting crosswalks in front of them to tell pedestrians they can cross in front. That's no way that's going to work in London. Absolutely not. So we're if the whole automotive industry thinks that this is how people are going to behave, then they're completely wrong. So that's kind of where we started from, was that actually these machines, these self-driving cars, really need to understand the intentions so that you can have this two-way communication.
Right.
Now when you're crossing the street, even if you can't see the driver, you still try and look towards where the driver is, and you have that two-way communication.
Yeah.
And that's realistic. And I think the only way that version of self-driving cars would work is if self-driving cars were completely separated. I think what Wave are doing is super cool.
Okay.
Because they're creating their own models, world models,
right,
of how people move across spaces, or how vehicles and people move across spaces.
Okay.
And I'm super impressed with what they've done.
Wow. And Wave is a London-based startup.
They're a London-based startup that build self-driving car technology.
Yeah. Amazing. Very exciting. I mean, I was in the automotive industry back in 2016.
Yeah.
And I remember the predictions then of we're going to have self-driving cars by 2020.
Yeah.
I'm it's 2026 now. But it will come. I'm sure
it's coming.
Will come.
Yeah. Seeing them around Soho.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I don't know why you would have cars in Soho.
That's a good point. That's probably a good point. Don't put the cars, self-driving or not, in Soho.
Exactly. No cars. Yeah.
Oh, man. What was it like founding an AI startup that is both kind of software and, I guess, has a strong element of hardware interoperability to it? Building that in a time when AI wasn't trendy, and I guess also in London and not in, I don't know, Silicon Valley or wherever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think, we made a conscious decision pretty early on that we were going to be a software company.
Right.
We went out to the Bay Area actually at the beginning of Humanising Autonomy, just to understand the market better, understand what's going on. What do we build? Do we build the hardware and software element of it and so on? Right. And we realized that actually the automotive makers and their tier one suppliers, so the people who make the safety systems for the automotive companies, they own all of that already. They're not going to change on that. Software as well, it's very difficult, as I found out, to change things in automotive. So we decided very quickly that we're going to do software.
Okay.
At the same time, we kind of we went down the track of, let's build it in a way that works for low power compute.
Okay.
So, of course, it's great if you can work on the massive NVIDIA GPUs. But a lot of the work that we did was actually engineering work to get these models working on low cost, low power devices. So we got acquired by a company called Nextbase, which is the biggest dashcam maker in the world. So they're a leader in dashcam technology. And part of that was because we were able to run on their chipsets. So we were able to learn on consumer grade dash cams. So to provide that software at that level was something that was attractive.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's not necessarily something that comes to mind immediately of okay, this software, which can be very powerful, actually needs to run like all the time.
Yeah.
In across a whole bunch of different physical like hosts.
Yeah. And kind of this is where we were thinking as well at the time. It was like, there are cameras already everywhere. There are cameras, on your webcam, on your laptop, on your phone, on like self-checkout machines.
Yeah.
More and more like smart home, like TVs have them. Your Ray-Ban Meta glasses.
Oh goodness me.
Yeah. So so you can like think about like how this technology could have been used in like lots of other applications, and that was what was like really attractive for me. At least on a personal level, it's like not just the automotive angle, but like how can like machines better understand people for like useful use cases, not like surveillance use cases, but like useful features. In like a privacy preserving way, in a local way, and that's something that was really important. That if you can work on the chip locally, then it is private.
By design.
By design. Exactly.
The cameras on the smart TVs freak me out.
Yeah, they're kind of freaky.
I'm like, I have no idea what the software is in this TV. I don't want, and I know it's connected to the internet.
Because it's smart.
Because I'm watching Netflix or Amazon Prime, other services available. Okay. And you mentioned, so you got acquired by Nextbase, you said?
Yes, that's right.
Oh yeah, congrats. What was that experience like of founding a company and then taking it to this level where you're reaching like an end goal?
Yeah, I think the startup journey is always tough for sure. And it was the first time that we were doing it. So, made lots of mistakes for sure. But at the same time, I'm really proud of what we built. Now it's in, I don't know how many million dash cams and so on, because Nextbase has so many dash cams and they've got a cloud side as well. So it was super validating to basically build something that can have that level of usage. And I think like that was, for me, it was just like I was so happy. I was like super relieved that actually this technology is going to be useful. It's going to go somewhere and make like good impact. And we're totally aligned with Nextbase's view of like safety, critical, and running on the edge devices and so on. So it was great, and like the whole journey of it was like I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was like super interesting, if not always enjoyable. It was like always kind of like kept me on my toes. For sure.
What does you were co-founder and CTO. What does a co-founder and CTO of a, I guess, deep tech company do post-acquisition?
For the first couple of months, I just slept.
Catching up on sleep.
Yeah, I think I was sleeping like 12 hours a day. My partner thought I was ill. But I was just catching up, which is great. And I took some time off, to be honest, because I felt like things are changing so much on the tech landscape.
Okay.
And especially in the last few years, I hadn't had the chance to really play around with that new technology.
Okay.
Because, I was busy doing the other,
delivering
business. So I just spent some time to explore what's out there. How do LLMs really work? Have a little refresher on transformer networks and and these, visual learning models as well. So, and the visual language models rather. And I feel like that time, so that was about a year ago now.
Okay.
So it's not that long ago. I wanted to just play. And so I started playing around with these tools. There's so many tools out there, like, Lovable and Cursor and Claude Code and all these things. So just, super overwhelming. So I just gave myself a project. I was like, okay, I don't learn very well from courses and so on. I need to build something. I thought that, since I'm going to be doing some consulting work. I'm going to have to sort my taxes out. And so basically I was like, let me build myself a tax tool for my consulting work. And then I started building it and friends, I have a lot of friends from my master's course and so on who are they need to sort their taxes. And then I thought, okay, this is actually a good project to just build out. So I started just, working on it in weekends and evenings outside of my consulting work. And then I came to a point where I realized that, there is something here, because there's this thing that HMRC have been going on about for a while now, but actually launched last month in April, called Making Tax Digital, which is basically mandating sole traders and landlords who earn above a certain threshold. So this year is £50,000, next year is 30,000, year after is 20,000, to have digital records. So it's the first time they have to use third-party software, commercial third-party software, to file, not file, but like report quarterly. And then do the same annual submission. So there's still one submission a year. But there's like quarterly reporting. I think a lot of people were very confused and scared about that. And in some ways, like, fair enough, because I think like most people didn't even know about it. I only came across it by accident while I was building this. I was like, oh, this is like a new thing. So I built my software specifically for that function. And I wanted to build it in a different way to what's already out there, you know, like I'm not coming to a new field. You know, there's already QuickBooks and Sage and like all of these providers. But I felt like, you know, they were more serving people who are kind of finance professionals more than like an everyday freelancer. So I thought, okay, maybe I can use my background in like agentic AI stuff and design, because I really miss doing design work, to build software that just makes it super simple, super easy. And the whole point about this is my project that's called TaxHeaven, which it did start out as a joke initially. I thought that the name was hilarious, but then it just stuck and built it out. I launched it at the beginning of the tax year. There's just over 4,000 people on it now. Oh my goodness. That's a lot more than what you told me last week. Like people are joining loads now. Wow. And it's been amazing. The big thing was getting the HMRC approval. So that happened in January. And then once the HMRC approval came through, I basically worked full time on getting it ready for launch. And I'm just interested to see if it's useful. It's mostly free. So people can use it. I built some nice to have features as on the paid tier. So these are things like automating things. But most people will get by on the free. And I just wanted to build something nice, basically, that people can use. You know, this is going to be the first time that millions of people will have to use third-party software. Because normally people would have been used to using their spreadsheets and so on, giving it to an accountant, or just submitting it themselves. So I just wanted to make something from the ground up, like design it from the ground up for like, okay, if I was, because I'm my own consumer here. If I was to do this, how would I want this to be done? So there are all these like nice features, like if you like bulk drop your invoices and your receipts, it'll just categorize them with AI on the back end. Oh my goodness. And just like fill in the forms for you. Of course, you still need to check everything. But it like removes a lot of the legwork and the hassle of it. That's amazing. This is I love the story because it's your need. It's what you wanted. And you didn't like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't sound like you said, I want to be a fintech AI founder. No, not at all. You're like, I need to do my taxes. Yes, It was like a real need. I think that was what was so fun about it as well, was like, I could be my own consumer, which was different with Humanising Autonomy. Because I was selling to like automotive companies. That's so tough. They have, that's tough, but also they have their own engineering leaders, they have their own commercial, they have their own purchasing departments and so on. So that was different because I don't have the same experience as the lead engineer and the other company integrating this. Whereas this is for me, it's easy for me to test on myself. So the feedback loop was very tight. So I think, and the other thing is, of course, this is like a direct to consumer product. Which in many ways like makes it a lot easier. Of course, the scale is obviously bigger if you go B2B. But on the B2C side, it feels much more attainable, especially because this is like a solo project. I'm not looking to make this something huge, or rather, I wasn't looking to make something huge. It's just becoming huge. I wouldn't say it's huge yet, but I'm super happy that people are using it. I think that's where I'm getting a lot of validation. Same with the Nextbase thing of like, I'm just happy people are using it. If people are finding it useful, great.
That's the goal for you.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm driven by mostly.
Yeah.
It's like building some good stuff that people will find useful.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us a little bit about how you've actually built TaxHeaven, because from what I understand, like obviously, I think you did a security check on it, and you've got it HMRC approved. It is a proper, it's a HMRC grade app. I don't know if that's a thing, but
they have to approve how the APIs work and the fraud prevention headers and all that stuff. So it was a relatively lengthy process, but what's interesting is, if you've got a background in technology, you can really work with these coding agents in a way that like complements you.
Right.
It's definitely not like, oh, Claude, make me a tax app. It's definitely not that.
Claude one-shotted my tax app.
It's a lot of iteration, and the best advice I can give is like, you should think about it from a perspective of like being like an engineering manager in many ways, and like writing proper specs and so on is super important, but also the way that you develop it. Yeah. So for example, developing everything with test-driven development. So if you do use coding agents, make sure that you are using with frameworks like test-driven development, where you first spec out what the tests are, like what makes this pass before you go into the implementation. Because coding agents can just like implement random stuff in ways that don't really make sense and don't meet the end goal, or rather meet the end goal, but in like a wayward way.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, I think, I feel lucky that I had that experience over 10 years of like being an engineer. So that gave me the confidence to actually build this out. Yeah. I started with actually prototype tools at first, like things like Lovable and so on. Yeah. Which I really think is a great way to get going. Okay. But then, as I got more serious about it, I took it out of that platform and more into like I hope Lovable don't mind me saying this, but like more into like production grade things where I was more in control of the code. Yeah. So tools like Cursor, and then eventually to Claude Code and Codex and so on. And yeah, it's been really great. Because like the main thing you really need to be disciplined about is like, what do you actually want to build? You have to be like super specific, because otherwise they will just do stuff. And if you just take the AI's suggestions of what it should build, you'll go on forever. You'll keep on building stuff.
How do you structure that? Like, I don't know if it's like, is it a requirements document? Is it like, I don't know, 10 bullet points in your prompt? Like, how do you, I know it'll change depending on what you're building.
I mean, my workflow has been changing a lot over the past year. Okay. But I think the constant thing is, there's this concept called a PRD, which is a product requirements document. Okay. So at Humanising Autonomy, my responsibility was on the product and the technology. So a lot of my role was like, what should the product be? So what are the requirements that are there? And the good thing about that is like a lot of LLMs have been trained on this sort of like tech startup artifacts, like PRDs. Yeah. So they really understand that. Okay. So what's really good is to be like very specific about, what this feature is and what this feature is not. And something that works really well is like examples, like positive examples and negative examples are super important. Okay. So that it really understands what you're trying to build. Yeah. And basically building it in a way that meets the requirements and only that.
Okay.
So not more, not more, not less. Just like, and that's why the test-driven development is super important. It's only one framework, obviously, and it's the one that I've enjoyed using. I'm sure there's lots of other ways of doing things, but that's how I've been going about this.
How do you find? I mean, maybe to give the audience a bit of context, one thing I love about TaxHeaven is the design.
Oh, thanks.
It doesn't look like a tax app.
I spent, I think, like 2 days on the cloud animations in the beginning, and in the Christmas break. I mean, the design aspect is also a good point, because people are like vibe coding so many apps. Yeah. And they all look the same because they're all using the same like React frameworks and so on. And for me, it was really important that if you're using a financial product, it doesn't just need to be good from like the technical on the back end, which I, vetted through external cybersecurity consultants, as well as the HMRC approval process.
Yeah.
But also like it's something you should trust.
Yeah.
And I think that the visual language plays a big thing in the trust, because if someone just vibe coded something, then you know that they haven't spent a lot of time or care on like, how does this make the user feel, or like, should this be trustworthy and so on.
Yeah.
I spent a long time making the design system so that I've created a number of, aesthetics, I guess, which then I can use consistently and coherently across the app, so that it feels like a holistic system and not something that's kind of like wanged together.
Yeah. It's like the current AI design trend is like earthy tones and serif fonts, like italics.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like, this is my, like, selfishly as well, like, I used to love doing graphic design. Yeah. I just hadn't had the chance to do that in many years. So I thought, okay, let me like spend some time over the Christmas break. So I revamped the whole design at Christmas time.
Nice.
To basically match what I really felt it should be. And for that process was interesting, because there's no like specific design process in the world of like LLM coding. What worked for me was to actually, I actually wrote a bunch of documents. I wrote like actually writing about how it should look, how it should feel.
Okay.
Things I like the vibe of, like other examples, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like all of these things. And then I used the document. I think I wrote like 7 different documents.
Wow.
Like describing things like, how should the animation flow be? How should the colors be? Like, if there's a gradient, what amount? Because, you don't want the standard, like, vibe-coded purple gradient either, because that sucks. So, like, all of these things were things that, was quite, in many ways, like, emotional bits.
Yeah.
And then to, like, it's important to then codify into the design system.
Okay.
And to do that, I basically used, I think at this stage I was using Claude Code to basically, with Claude, I would design a design system which met my requirements of like the emotional side of the design with like the like nitty gritty. Okay, what frameworks will use? So like Framer Motion for these type of animations, use React for the general one, but don't use like the normal React components. Let's make some custom ones. So kind of like playing around with what LLMs are good at on the back end, but then making it feel special and different for the final components.
Yeah, because I think one thing anyone who goes onto the TaxHeaven app will agree with is it does not feel vibe coded at all.
Nice, thank you. Mission accomplished.
Do you reckon you could have got it so far as just one person without LLMs, without Claude Code, etc.?
Definitely not this quickly.
Okay.
I think the thing is like I don't think, like I was saying before, I don't think we're at the point where like anyone can just make it.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like pompous, but like I feel like it is because of the experience I have had in engineering, in software engineering, and AI, that I'm able to understand the limitations of the coding agents.
Yeah.
And there are lots of limitations. So, because I never had these like grand expectations of it, that's why I took my time with it and was able to build it by myself.
Yeah.
Of course, getting input from experts where I needed it. But yeah, there's no way would have been able to like launch it in time without the help of coding assistants.
Yeah. It's an incredible story. It's
just, I feel very privileged that I had the time to explore it. Because, a lot of people like, we're too busy to be really playing around with the tools.
Yeah.
I think it's only been through the playing around with the tools that I've been able to find like opportunities. TaxHeaven is one of those.
Yeah.
I'm super excited by, I think we were talking about a bit before about like world models and these like other types of models that are bringing a more like multimodal approach. And by multimodal, what I mean is like, not just text, but say visual understanding or audio understanding. And there are lots of cool companies like working across the different modalities.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that there's still more there. I'm super interested to understand like, okay, where's it going to go there? And, I'm also exploring that space myself to see like, okay, where can this like multimodal aspect really there's the same concept in many ways of like, how do you understand human behavior?
Yeah.
But with the newer technologies that are out there now, is something I'm super excited by.
Yeah. Would you say we're still very early in this like new AI technology cycle? Or
I think so. I mean, I think like what the GPT-3 moment showed was that, it suddenly went from being kind of shit to like, there's something here.
Yeah.
And
it can write a speech like Churchill.
Yeah. So like, I feel like we're getting to that point where we're having that like GPT-3 moment, but for world models. So by world models, I mean like the physical world models. Like how do you understand the physical world?
Yeah.
And that's going to unlock like huge opportunities, I think, in the real world, like the physical space. So whether that's like warehouse automation or manufacturing, there's so many places. If you can build that power, bring that power into the physical spaces, into like embodied devices, then there's like a whole new range of things. Like so far, the LLMs have been super helpful for like, like white collar jobs, where a lot of it's like desk work, computer work. But there's so much more impact that you can have like in the physical world than what you can with just LLMs. I think a lot of people, when they talk about AI, are thinking specifically of GPT and LLMs and these language models, but there's so much more. And that's why I'm interested personally in this like multimodal. So where the language and text is super important, but it's one of many modalities that actually can contribute to making a product really good. I'm also interested in like with the TaxHeaven side of things, it's getting to the point where there will be enough of a customer base that you can actually like test new ways. Like something that like a really cool example of a fintech company, I think is Clio, because they're building something where the interaction itself is different. It's almost conversational. Or it is conversational. So that's a completely different way to like say a standard banking app. So I think that's super interesting. That like if you can build new ways of interacting with fintech products, beyond like, for example, with TaxHeaven, we're on the ChatGPT app store.
Nice.
And that's interesting from like a go-to-market perspective. Okay? People might discover us through ChatGPT by finding the app that's there. But if the whole product was like that, of being like, so say you're on TaxHeaven, and instead of you dragging and dropping your receipts into the receipt drag drop place, you just talk about, hey, I got these incomes from here. And then it fills out the font for you in that way, which is a completely different way
That's so interesting.
of like architecting the whole product. And I think that, there's a lot more experiments that can be done in that space to see what actually works there.
Do you think UX is going to be transformed in the next like 5-10 years?
I think so. I think that's why I'm like super interested in this multimodal space, because I do think that the way that software has been designed so far has been with the mouse, keyboard, now more and more voice, a bit more and more voice, but like what if you had like gestures? I mean, of course there were like experiments with this in augmented reality which didn't really work out. And of course Leap Motion and so on, again, great technology, but it didn't quite work. Leap Motion is a company that made hand gesture technology. But it's getting to the point. So there's a company called Thinking Machine Labs that was founded by the CTO of OpenAI, who are building really cool models around interaction models. And that's something I think is really interesting. I think if you build foundational interaction models, changing the way that people interact with the technology itself.
Yeah.
That's almost like going back to like my like OG interest in like how do machines understand people.
Yeah.
So yeah, in many ways, like it's kind of cliche, but I'm kind of like going like full circle. Yeah. Via fintech. Yes.
Just a quick detour to fintech.
Yeah.
Oh man. But I guess it shows how much is possible nowadays if you have the background and if you have the confidence to jump in and be like, yeah, I'm going to make this tax app assisted with AI, but also at the same time explore multimodal models.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. It's like I think people have too high expectations of the coding agents.
Okay.
Whereas like I think something that was super helpful was to be like, yeah, I really want to make this with coding agents, but also, I have to be super mindful of the security aspect, of the privacy aspect, of all these things. And I thankfully had that experience with Humanising Autonomy, where actually like everything we were building had to work for automotive customers. It had to be secure, it had to be private and like compliant with all these laws and so on.
Yeah.
And it's like through that lens that like I felt comfortable building something like it.
Yeah.
I think that I wouldn't have felt otherwise comfortable building like financial software without knowing what I know now.
Yeah. This is such a, the AI conversations are always so hype driven. Yeah, I one-shotted this, or, oh my God, you won't believe what Claude Code can do now. It's like, no, this is such a nice, like grounded, like, yeah, AI is great, but.
You still need expertise. I think like the skill sets of jobs definitely will change, like to leverage the tools for automation and so on. But, you still need expertise to build something good. Yeah. There's a huge graveyard of vibe coded projects out there. You know what? Like I even like might sound stupid, but I don't even feel it's right to call TaxHeaven vibe coded, because like actually it's professional. It took a lot of care to like get it to where it is, with like expertise coming in from different places, including on the security aspect and so on. So it's like, it was like almost feels like a slur at this point. Like,
oh man, did I say that?
How dare you?
Edit that? That was a joke. We don't need to edit that, unless you want me to. No, but I know what you mean. It's like, when we say vibe code, we tend to, or at least I think it's like non-professional people making something, and they don't really know if it's safe or not.
It's not just that. I think that there's like legitimate like for example, prototyping is great. Yeah, like I still prototype with tools like Lovable. Yeah, because it's really quick at building something that you can then test. Yeah, like does its interaction feel right? But then when you want to productionize it, like for me, I need to go into a different workflow to make it into production grade. Yeah. But yeah, so I think like vibe coding can be positive to like prototype things quickly, especially if you're in the tech space and building products. Like, so it's a great way to build like high fidelity prototypes, which we couldn't really do before. No. Yeah, we have to get the pen and paper out. And that's not high fidelity. What's next for TaxHeaven? What's next? So one thing that I've noticed with the customers, and there's so many cool customers, and like people have been giving feedback of like what works, what doesn't work for them. Yeah. And I really, really, really am grateful to the people who've been giving all this feedback, because it makes it like better, faster for everyone else. Yeah. And I know for every person that does give feedback, there's probably 10 who think the same thing that didn't give that feedback. So like I'm really enjoying that whole like process of being like iterating more and more. Yeah. And one thing I want to explore more is that like I'm starting to notice certain customer profiles. So for example, a big part of our customer base are people, are tradespeople. So, so people under the construction industry scheme and so on. So what I'm exploring now is like, okay, how can I better service that niche? Yeah. And it's a big niche. Yeah. So I'm exploring, partnerships and so on with those platforms for tradespeople. Yeah. At the same time, I think like another way is actually going to the accountants that do the filing for these individuals and understanding if there's a if there's a space for TaxHeaven to sit on top of their existing workflow to help them service people for making tax digital, because this is new for everyone. This is new for the accountants as well.
Okay.
And I feel like, if I'm able to make a software product that helps there are people who said themselves that, they're in their 80s using this product.
Yeah.
If I can make something work for them, then hopefully I can make it work for accountants as well, and anyone really.
Yeah.
And I think that so that's the other angle I'm exploring.
Yeah, that's the design engineering background coming in. Go to the extreme.
Exactly.
And then,
if you can build something for the extremes, then it'll be great for everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's I'm super excited to see what comes out of that.
That's so cool, man. That's what a cool story. I'm so happy we managed to chat about it properly.
Thanks. It's so good to catch up with you after basically after a decade.
Maybe we just do this catch up on the podcast. It's probably more likely to get us to catch up.
True.
No, but thank you so much, Raunaq. People can check out TaxHeaven. What URL or on the
TaxHeaven.app.
Perfect.
I've also got the domain for TaxHaven.app because just felt like I should get that.
I was wondering, can I make that joke? I was like, I'm not going to make that joke.
Yeah. Well, that's how it started, but So TaxHaven.app.
Awesome. Wicked, Raunaq. Let's definitely catch up soon.
Yeah.